Imagine a world where your morning toast is dripping with golden raw honey straight from your backyard. No store-bought plastic bottles, no added sugars, just pure, natural goodness created by your very own buzzing workforce. But here's the catch. What if I told you that the key to an endless supply of honey isn't about high-tech gadgets, fancy beekeeping suits, or chemical-laden processes? Instead, it's about going back to the roots, an age-old method that the Amish have perfected for generations. A way that's simple, natural, and best of all, stress-free for both you and the bees. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to start a backyard beehive that provides you with pure, liquid gold year after year. The Amish beekeeping philosophy. Let's talk about the Amish for a second. These folks live without modern conveniences, yet they've mastered the art of beekeeping in a way that most modern beekeepers envy. No artificial hive frames, no chemical treatments, no overcomplicated contraptions, just wood, bees, and patience. And guess what? Their method works beautifully. So why should you care? Well, because their approach is not just about getting honey, it's about working with nature instead of against it. It's about creating an environment where bees thrive without stress, producing some of the purest honey on the planet. And the best part? You don't need to be a beekeeping expert to do this. The Amish believe in sustainability, and their approach to beekeeping reflects that deeply. Instead of constantly interfering with their colonies, they practice patience and observation. They know that bees, given the right conditions, can manage themselves remarkably well. By allowing bees to construct their own combs, they strengthen their hives naturally, resulting in healthier colonies that are more resistant to disease and pests. Another unique aspect of their philosophy is their emphasis on community. Amish beekeepers don't see their bees as mere honey producers. They view them as essential partners in agriculture. Healthy bees mean better pollination for crops, which in turn benefits the entire farming ecosystem. This holistic approach ensures that every part of nature is respected and nurtured, leading to long-term sustainability. Instead of relying on synthetic treatments for pests like the dreaded varroa mite, the Amish prefer natural solutions. They allow bees to develop their own resistance over time, often by selecting and breeding from colonies that show strong survival traits. They also encourage biodiversity in their landscapes by planting bee-friendly flowers and herbs, which help to support a well-rounded diet for the bees and enhance their natural immunity. One of the most fascinating elements of Amish beekeeping is the way they use intuition and experience rather than rigid schedules and inspections. Instead of cracking open hives weekly and disrupting the bees' work, they rely on keen observation of external behavior, watching the activity at the hive entrance, noting the scent of the colony, and listening to the sound of the bees. These subtle cues provide insight into the health of the hive without the need for invasive practices. Setting up your backyard. Beehive the Amish way. All right, first things first, location. You don't want to plop your hive down just anywhere. The Amish are very particular about placement. Your bees need a quiet, undisturbed spot with morning sun and afternoon shade. Think of it like setting up the perfect Airbnb for your tiny winged guests. Now, the hive itself, no fancy plastic parts, no high-tech gear, just a simple wooden box, preferably crafted from locally sourced materials. Why? Because bees know the difference between natural and artificial, and they work best in a hive that mimics a real tree. You can build your own or buy a basic wooden hive with removable frames. Nothing too complex. And here's a little-known Amish trick. They avoid painting or chemically treating the wood. Instead, they let the natural scent of the timber attract and comfort the bees. Who knew bees had such refined taste? Another important aspect of hive setup is elevation. The Amish often place their hives slightly above ground level using sturdy wooden stands or concrete blocks. This helps with airflow, prevents moisture buildup, and keeps predators like skunks and ants at bay. The goal is to create a stable and secure home where the bees feel safe to work efficiently. Orientation matters too. Facing the hive entrance toward the east ensures the morning sun wakes up the colony early, encouraging them to start foraging as soon as possible. The Amish carefully assess wind patterns and natural barriers like hedges or fences to shield the hive from harsh weather while maintaining good ventilation. When it comes to hive placement, they also consider proximity to food and water sources. Bees need access to diverse pollen and nectar sources, so planting wildflowers, fruit trees, or herbal gardens nearby provides them with a nutritious and varied diet. A small water source, like a shallow dish with pebbles, ensures the bees stay hydrated without drowning. A simple yet crucial step in responsible beekeeping. Another key element the Amish incorporate is allowing the bees to build natural combs. Rather than relying on prefabricated plastic foundations, this method gives the colony full control over cell size and hive structure, leading to stronger, more disease-resistant colonies. Natural comb building also means the honey retains all its beneficial properties since it's stored the way bees intended. Keeping multiple hives a few feet apart prevents overcrowding, while allowing for easy management. The Amish understand that each colony has its own personality, so giving them enough space minimizes territorial disputes and fosters harmony. They also rotate hive locations occasionally to prevent soil contamination and discourage pests from settling in the area. Ultimately, setting up a backyard beehive the Amish way is about simplicity and balance. Every decision is made with the bees' well-being in mind, ensuring a stress-free environment that leads to better honey production and a healthier ecosystem overall. If you follow these principles, you're not just keeping bees, you're building a relationship with nature itself. Getting your bees. Now the million-dollar question, where do you get the bees? You've got two solid options: buying a bee package from a local beekeeper, or if you're feeling adventurous, attracting a wild swarm. The Amish are big on swarm catching. They set up bait hives, small wooden boxes with a bit of beeswax inside, to lure wild colonies. It's like setting up a cozy little trap house for bees. If you're a beginner, buying a starter colony is the way to go. Just make sure you get them from a reputable beekeeper who follows organic, natural practices. No stressed out, chemically treated bees here, please. When purchasing bees, look for local suppliers who specialize in naturally raised colonies. Avoid mass-produced, factory-farmed bees that may be shipped long distances. These bees tend to be weaker and more prone to disease. Instead, go for bees adapted to your region's climate, as they will have built-in resistance to local pests and environmental conditions. Another option is networking with experienced beekeepers. Some might be willing to split a strong hive and give you a nucleus colony, also known as a nuke. This is a small, already established colony with a queen, workers, and brood. It's a fantastic way to start, as the bees are already functioning as a cohesive unit. If you're drawn to the idea of catching a wild swarm, timing is everything. Swarm season typically occurs in spring and early summer, when colonies outgrow their existing space and split to form new hives. Setting up bait hives with old honeycomb and a few drops of lemongrass oil can work wonders in attracting wandering swarms. Handling a swarm requires patience and a calm demeanor. The Amish approach it methodically, using gentle movements and simple tools, like a cardboard box or wooden hive to transport the swarm safely. It's a rewarding experience, as swarms are often healthier than commercially sold bees, having already proven their resilience in the wild. Whichever method you choose, ensure your bees are introduced to their new home gently. Place them in the hive during the late afternoon or evening to reduce stress and give them time to settle overnight. With proper care, They will soon start foraging, building comb, and turning your backyard into a buzzing, honey-producing haven. Taking care of your bees, the Amish way. Here's where things get interesting. Unlike modern beekeepers who are constantly opening hives, inspecting frames, and stressing out their bees, the Amish keep it chill. They observe from the outside, watching the bees' behavior. Are they flying in and out regularly? Are they bringing in pollen? If so, everything's fine. No need to meddle. And protective suits? Most Amish beekeepers work without them because they know that calm, slow movements keep bees from feeling threatened. If you're not flailing around like a maniac, the bees won't see you as an enemy. That being said, if you're new, wearing at least a veil is a good idea, because let's be honest, getting stung in the face is not fun. The key to healthy, thriving bees is to let them be. Instead of artificial feeding, the Amish rely on planting nectar-rich flowers and leaving enough honey for the colony to sustain itself through the winter. They know that a well-fed, unstressed hive is more resilient and productive. By mimicking natural conditions, they create an environment where bees can flourish without human interference. Another Amish trick? They avoid using smoke excessively. While most modern beekeepers puff clouds of smoke to calm the bees, the Amish keep it minimal, using only a small amount when absolutely necessary. Overuse of smoke can stress the colony, so they rely more on their own gentle handling techniques. With patience and observation, your bees will thrive, producing pure honey while keeping your backyard buzzing with life. Harvesting honey like an Amish pro. Here's where the patience pays off. The Amish don't harvest honey every few weeks like commercial beekeepers. They do it once, maybe twice a season, ensuring the bees have plenty of food to survive the winter. Greedy beekeepers who take too much honey end up with weak, starving colonies that collapse. Don't be that person. When it's time to harvest, they use a simple knife or scraper to cut off the honeycomb, letting gravity do the rest. No heated extractors, no high-speed spinning, just a slow, natural process that keeps the honey's nutrients intact. And let me tell you, the taste? Unreal. You have never had honey this pure before. To collect the honey, they carefully remove the capped honeycomb and allow it to drain naturally through a mesh strainer. This preserves the flavor, aroma, and beneficial enzymes that make raw honey so special. By keeping the process simple and non-invasive, they ensure the highest quality end product. They also avoid fine filtering, which keeps the pollen and tiny bits of beeswax intact, adding depth to the flavor and additional health benefits. After harvesting, they store the honey in glass jars rather than plastic, as glass helps preserve its purity and prevents unwanted chemical interactions. The honey is kept in a cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight, ensuring that it remains fresh for months or even years. Another key Amish practice is harvesting only fully capped frames of honey. This ensures the moisture content is low enough to prevent fermentation, resulting in a thick, syrupy consistency that doesn't spoil. The bees instinctively cap honey when it's perfectly ripened, so waiting for this natural signal guarantees the highest quality product. Even the way they handle bees during harvesting is intentional. They use gentle methods, like a bee brush or a bit of smoke, to encourage the bees to leave the frames without harm. The goal is to disturb them as little as possible, maintaining a stress-free environment so they can continue thriving after the harvest. This slow, traditional approach to honey harvesting is not just about taste, it's about respect. Respect for the bees, for nature, and for the process itself. It's a reminder that good things take time, and that when you work in harmony with nature, you get rewarded with something truly special. Keeping your bees healthy the natural way. A thriving beehive is more than just a honey-producing operation. It's a delicate, self-sustaining ecosystem. The key to keeping bees healthy lies not in synthetic treatments or artificial stimulants, but in understanding their natural rhythms and supporting them in a way that enhances their own resilience. This is something the Amish have mastered over generations, relying on traditional chemical-free methods to ensure strong, disease-resistant colonies. One of the most crucial aspects of hive health is nutrition. Bees, like all living creatures, need a balanced diet to stay strong. Commercial beekeeping often relies on sugar syrup or corn syrup as a quick and easy food source. But these processed alternatives lack the vital nutrients found in real honey. The Amish avoid this shortcut entirely, ensuring their bees have access to the honey they've worked hard to produce. Raw honey contains essential enzymes, minerals, and antibacterial properties that boost the bees' immune systems, making them more capable of fighting off disease and handling environmental stressors. Another essential factor in natural hive management is biodiversity. The modern agricultural industry often limits pollinators to monoculture environments, where bees are forced to gather nectar from only one type of plant. This lack of variety weakens colonies over time. The Amish combat this by cultivating a mix of wildflowers, native plants, clover, and flowering herbs, providing a rich, diverse diet that enhances bee health. Access to different nectar sources strengthens their immune response, improves honey quality, and ensures year-round foraging opportunities. In addition to food, the structure and location of a hive play a significant role in maintaining the colony's well-being. Amish beekeepers place their hives in shaded areas with good airflow. Overheating can cause colony stress, while damp, poorly ventilated hives encourage mold and fungal infections. Natural hive placement, away from pollutants and artificial disturbances, allows bees to live as they would in the wild, instinctively regulating their own temperatures and maintaining the balance needed for optimal function. Propolis, often called bee glue, is another natural tool that helps keep colonies healthy. This resinous substance is collected by bees from tree buds and is used to seal gaps in the hive, creating a protective barrier against bacteria and viruses. The Amish recognize the importance of allowing bees to produce and use propolis freely. In contrast, commercial beekeepers often remove excess propolis during hive maintenance, unknowingly stripping the bees of one of their most effective defenses. By leaving propolis intact, Amish beekeepers allow the hive to maintain its own natural sterilization system, reducing the likelihood of infection spreading. Queen rearing is another crucial aspect of natural beekeeping. In industrial operations, queens are often artificially bred and frequently replaced to increase honey production. This practice disrupts the colony's natural hierarchy and can lead to weaker genetic traits over time. The Amish, however, let bees raise their own queens, ensuring that each hive selects a leader that is best suited to its specific environment. This promotes genetic diversity and allows colonies to evolve naturally, becoming more resistant to pests and diseases without human interference. Mite infestations are a major challenge in beekeeping, and many commercial beekeepers rely on chemical treatments to combat these pests. The Amish, on the other hand, use integrated, non-invasive techniques to control mite populations. They practice hive spacing, ensuring colonies are not overcrowded, which minimizes the spread of mites. They also encourage hygienic behavior within their hives. Some bee strains naturally groom each other to remove mites, a trait that is strengthened through careful, natural breeding practices. Additionally, they rotate and inspect comb frames to prevent infestations from taking hold, relying on observation and preventative measures rather than reactive treatments. Stress reduction is another key element in maintaining hive health. Constant human interference, such as excessive hive inspections, transportation, or artificial feeding, can weaken colonies over time. The Amish adopt a hands-off approach, minimizing unnecessary disruptions so that bees can function without constant outside pressure. Their hives are checked only when needed, allowing the bees to maintain their own equilibrium without excessive intervention. By embracing these natural techniques, the Amish have cultivated a beekeeping system that is both sustainable and operative. Their methods are not about maximizing short-term yields, but about fostering long-term hive health and stability. Why Amish beekeeping is more than just honey. The true beauty of Amish beekeeping lies not just in the golden jars of honey it produces, but in the philosophy that drives the practice. At its core, this method is about working alongside nature rather than trying to control it. The Amish understand that bees are not simply honey-making machines. They are living creatures with instincts, behaviors, and a role in the larger ecosystem. Their way of beekeeping reflects a deep respect for these insects and the natural world, embracing patience, tradition, and sustainability. Modern society often values speed and efficiency over quality and longevity. Everything is designed to be fast. Fast food, fast communication, fast results. But beekeeping, when done the Amish way, requires a shift in mindset. It asks the beekeeper to slow down, observe, and learn from nature, rather than impose artificial schedules or demands. The process of tending to bees becomes almost meditative, a practice in mindfulness. Watching a hive function in harmony, seeing worker bees gather nectar, observing how they communicate and organize their colony, it all serves as a reminder that the natural world operates in rhythms that cannot and should not be rushed. The Amish approach to beekeeping also fosters a deep sense of connection to the land, to the seasons, and to the bees themselves. Unlike industrial methods, which often rely on interventionist treatments, the Amish let nature take the lead. Their hives are simple. There are no plastic components and no chemical-laden supplements. The bees build their comb as they would in nature, strengthening their hive structure and overall resilience. Another aspect of this practice that extends beyond honey is the role it plays in community and family life. In many Amish households, beekeeping is a skill passed down from one generation to the next, much like farming or woodworking. Children grow up watching their elders tend to the hives, learning the delicate balance between caring for the bees and allowing them the freedom to function naturally. This passing of knowledge ensures that traditional, sustainable methods remain intact, resisting the pressures of modern agricultural shortcuts. Beyond the family unit, the benefits of Amish beekeeping extend to the broader environment. A single thriving hive can positively impact an entire local ecosystem, increasing biodiversity and promoting the growth of wild plants that other species rely on for food and shelter. In contrast to commercial beekeeping operations, which often transport bees long distances and place them in monoculture farms with limited food sources, the Amish prioritize diversity in plant life, ensuring their bees have access to a variety of natural forage throughout the seasons. The experience of keeping bees in this way encourages self-sufficiency, fosters an appreciation for nature's intricate balance, and provides a deeper sense of satisfaction that goes far beyond the end product. In a world where so many aspects of life have become disconnected from nature, beekeeping offers a way to bridge that gap. Whether you live on a sprawling homestead or in a suburban backyard, keeping bees with this philosophy in mind can transform the way you interact with the natural world. It becomes more than just a hobby. It's a way of life, one rooted in patience, respect, and an understanding that the best rewards come not from force, but from cooperation with nature. The Amish have held on to these values for centuries, resisting the temptations of modern convenience in favor of a more meaningful way of life. And while not everyone can adopt the full Amish lifestyle, there is much to learn from their approach to beekeeping. By stepping away from industrialized methods and embracing a more thoughtful, holistic way of keeping bees, we can cultivate something truly special. Not just honey, but a connection to the land, a respect for tradition, and a rhythm of life that brings peace and fulfillment. So, if you're ready to ditch the artificial and embrace the simple, natural way of beekeeping, now's your chance. Get yourself a wooden hive, find some happy bees, and start your journey towards an endless honey supply. And trust me, once you taste your own homegrown honey, you'll never go back to the store-bought stuff again. If you found this video helpful, drop a comment below and let me know. Are you planning to start a backyard beehive? Also, if you want more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Now go make some honey magic happen.